Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new podcast. I'm proud to say for Pike County Schools. It's Pike County Schools Excellence in Education. Superintendent Freddie Bowling was gracious enough to agree to this thing, and I think it's vitally important to let the community know what's going on, and through our contacts and through our distribution methods to find out exactly what's happening at the school system, because education is so important. The future of our children is so important, and it's so vitally important to let people know what's happening. I'm joined today by the principal of East Ridge High School. I almost said Shelby Valley, and that's another time, but East Ridge High School. It's Eric Bartley.
Yes, sir.
Is here. And Eric, so I understand. So this is your first year, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where'd you come from?
Well, Jeff, I started out my education career. I started out at North Point Academy. I taught there half a year. Then I moved on to Mullins, coached boys and girls middle school basketball there. Boys high school at Pike Central, was there for 3 years. Then moved on to Valley Elementary, where I coached, athletic director, drove a bus, done a little bit of everything, wore a lot of hats in education. Was there for roughly 10 years. Moved on to Feds Creek Elementary, was principal there for 2 years, and I'm now at East Ridge High School, my first year.
So, I think it's always vitally important for educators to always get involved with not only the academics, but the athletics, the extracurricular things. Did Corey and Randy tell me that you drove a horse out on the football field and threw a stake down?
Yes, sir. We played Shelby Valley Friday night, big district matchup. I'd been telling the boys, hey, I got a surprise for you. And I let them out on my big gray standardbred Friday night and threw the spear down at the 50-yard line. And it's been quite the sensation online. So I just want to do something special for our community and our kids and let them know, hey, we're behind you. And I'm willing to do whatever I got to do to
Clearly, I could see that. So how did the crowd react to you coming out on your horse?
It was a great reaction, Jeff. Like I said, I think one of the views online's got over 40-some thousand views.
That's amazing.
So, but like I said, I'm here for the kids. I tell my kids all the time at school, I come as a servant. So
sure.
I'm here to, do whatever I can to promote them and get them out there.
What's the difference between being a teacher and a principal? I mean, there's a big difference. From the teacher, you got to find out among the classes. As a principal, you got everything.
Yeah, absolutely. With teaching, you're pretty much consumed with one group or a few different groups of kids. Whereas, with the principal, you're overseeing the whole building. I'm at a high school now, so, I've got freshmen through seniors that I got to worry about. And, always, if it's kind of hard to find a balance, what might be best for the seniors may not be what's best for the freshmen in certain ways or areas. And you got to find that balance, and getting everybody working together and coming together as one goal as a team is just a beautiful thing to me.
Tell me about your staff. What is unique about your staff? How do they respond to the students, to the change, to you in general? Because this is your first year as a principal. Tell me what is their reaction to this?
Jeff, they've been amazing. I tell everybody, I feel like we got the best staff in the state of Kentucky, and I say that with all honesty. They come to work, they show up every day, they grind just as hard as I grind. They get in there. They roll their sleeves up and they get to work. They have really bought into the change because I come in, mixed a few things up that was not easy changes. And, they took the bull by the horns, I guess you'd say,
sure.
and went with it. And they've done amazing things. We're looking forward to once our test scores will be able to release. I think this county and this state is going to see that, East Ridge High School's going to be a force to be reckoned with, not only now, but in the future as well.
Well, that's always good. I know that we put a big emphasis on test scores and testing and all that stuff, but behind every student is something different. So tell me about some of the students. What's unique? What are the students doing besides just? I mean, it's easy to go to class, show up, and do this stuff. What is unique about your? What else is happening besides showing up?
Right. Well, we've got a great mix of students, Jeff. We got a great mix of athletes and student athletes and just the whole 9 yards. We got a great student body. We're about a little over 350 kids right now. we got so many different programs, and our kids are doing so many amazing things. We have one of the best CTE programs in the state of Kentucky.
CTE meaning?
It's a college career ready stuff.
Right, okay.
Working,
Sure.
being ready to go into the workforce, not only going into the workforce, but also being ready to go into college as well, whatever they decide to do.
Sure.
Miss Hope Ramey and Connie Farron, they run the program where it's business and marketing type, principles. They're teaching kids, if they want to go out into the workforce in those areas, they're ready. Uh, they print T-shirts in there for not only our school but our community. They print hats. They're doing everything in there, just hands on, and they're doing an amazing job. We got an amazing vocational program. The Millard vocational area that we got kids going to. Mr. Gary Roberts, I'm sure you'll have him here. He's the principal there that helps. We partner with him and work with him. And they go out, there's welding, there's carpentry, there's you name it. And, if that's the route our kids decide to go, they have that route.
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that you're not only making kids college ready, but you're also making kids workforce ready
Sir.
to go into plumbing, go into electrical work, to go into carpentry work, go into masonry work?
Yes, sir.
What is that like? Because you know what? Every high school says, "Oh, it's about the test scores. We want to push these kids to college." College isn't for everybody, is it?
That's right, Jeff. We're trying to target those kids as they come in. Something we do, Jeff, that I feel we have met with every kid in our building to make sure that they're in a pathway right now. And when I say pathway, one of those, either career or college pathways
Sure.
to go. So, we got the vocational. We've got Miss Christy Ratliff there. She's doing an amazing job with the CNA program. Our kids can graduate high school basically ready to go straight into the nursing program with a CNA.
Sure.
Ready to go.
Is that part of the Pikeville Medical Center's initiative too? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they can be ready to go, straight into nursing classes.
You're a relatively young guy.
Yes, sir.
You went to high school in Pike County.
Sir.
So when you were going to high school, you didn't have the same type of opportunities that you're having now. How much of a game changer is it for kids now versus when you were in high school?
Oh, it's a huge game changer. Like I said, to be able to come out, especially with the dual credit classes now, which count for both high school and college credits, to be able to come out with those, to be able to, like I said, start basically with an associate's. Pike County has the early college academy now, so we've got some students in that right now that's going through that program. So they'll come out with basically an associate's and whatever they decide to go into. So that, you're way ahead of the game, leaving high school. And with that, kids are ready to start a career sooner than later, basically.
Sure.
Yes.
How do you as a principal and your staff get kids away from the screen and start making them think critically and solving problems? What is that a challenge right now in today's day?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But there's so many things out there now with we've tried to use AI to play it in our favor, to make it work for us as much as we can, because it's out there, and we know kids are using it, but we still want kids to think critically and be able to think on their feet. We have an amazing ROTC program with Sergeant Thompson. He's doing a great job with getting kids, just because it's ROTC, it's not you have to go to the military. He's teaching life skills, for these kids to be able to go out and be productive citizens. Responsibility. They do so many things in our community, and so we just want kids to be able to, whatever they decide to go in, be able to think on their feet and be able to do that.
Well, you just mentioned life skills. I read in one of the things where when you took the job that not only did you want to educate, boys and girls to become men and women and become smart and get a good education, but you also wanted to teach them about life skills.
Absolutely.
A lot of times kids get out of high school and, in this area, we're having, there's a lot of need for that kind of stuff. Kids don't know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know how to go grocery shopping. They don't know how to, and they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to take care of themselves, clean and stuff like that. Those are kind of life skills. And I think what's most impressive now that I see from the youth, particularly in the kids that are coming in looking for jobs, 10 years ago, I was having students come and look for jobs and they wouldn't look me in the eye. I had an interview this morning from a kid who graduated from a county school several years ago, got educated at the University of Pikeville, looked me in the eye, shook my hand, and I'm like, this is a great change. Are you seeing that and in not only your schools, but are you seeing a cultural change in the family get makeup at your school?
Yeah. One with that, I'm glad you mentioned that, Jeff, because with I'm sure Mr. Bowen will appreciate this. We're pushing out this Portrait of a Learner initiative that we're looking at, and we got with our community members in our county from all areas of our county, and we met with business owners, we met with faith-based organizations, naturally us teachers, principals, even students. We came together and we said, what's important to you, to the community, to business owners, to all the stakeholders that are involved in a school, because it's not just the principal and the teachers and the kids. Like you said, it's a community thing.
Sure.
And we've all got interest. Eastridge is the backbone of that community up there. So we came together. What's important to be an effective communicator, to look you in the eyes, to shake your hand, things like that. What are businesses looking for? What do they look for when they're hiring kids? That way we can take it back and take it to our schools and say, look, here's what local businesses are looking for. Here's what businesses across the state are looking for. Here's what businesses across this nation, this country, and are looking for for employment when they're looking to hire you.
Sure. The kids are buying into that, but are the parents buying into that?
Yeah, absolutely. That was part of it. We wanted everybody involved. That
Sure.
way, when it came down to it, we could say, you said this was what was important.
Gotcha.
You said this is what meant something for you, what you wanted I basically what a well-rounded student graduating from Eastridge High School or Shelby Valley High School or Pike Central High School or Belfair Phelps, what a well-rounded student looks like, whether they be college ready, whether they be career ready.
Interesting that you say that because, I mentioned, that you're at Eastridge. You're part of the Pike County school system. Pike County's got several high schools. They got grade schools and elementary schools. If I'm a student at Eastridge High School, what can I expect from you and your staff from the time I become a freshman to the time I graduate and go on to the next level of what is my expectation level of you and what is your expectation level of that child?
Well, when you come in, if you come into us as a freshman, Jeff, first of all, we're going to welcome you. We're going to make sure you have a safe learning environment to learn in. And then we're going to start digging into you. We're going to be meeting with you individually, finding your interests. You're going to be doing interest inventories. What might you want to go into? Do you want to go the nursing route? Do you want to go the vocational route? Do you want to go the military ROTC route? Do you want to go the business route? And we're going to try to get you on one of those pathways, and we're going to track you, and we're going to nurture you. We're going to love you. We're going to see you through every step of the way. We're going to give you 110% every single day you step into our building. We're going to treat every kid equally, and we're going to try to nourish them and grow them into that productive citizen that we want to see leave issues.
That's really an important piece because a lot of times, schools go in there. I mean, when I went to high school, I came to school, nobody gave a crap about us. But, now that was many, many years ago. But now it's like for hearing you say that, I feel a renewed hope in our youth because somebody's paying attention to them. How many people are left behind because they're not getting paid attention to at school? They're not getting paid attention to at home. This has got to be a whole paradigm shift for a student who actually says, not only am I going to school to learn, but I'm going to school because somebody's taken an interest in me. Do you see that type of effect happening at your school?
Yeah, our goal is, and my goal right now is to know, I want to know every kid,
Sure.
on an individual basis, what they're interested in, what their likes are. And then I reflect that to my staff. We've talked a lot about the college and the career ready stuff that we got, but in order for that to work, our English department has to be great. Our social studies department, our history department has to be great. Our arts and humanities program has to be great. Our math department has to be great. It takes a team effort. And like I said, my teachers have done an amazing job in the buying into that. And I hope my interest in the students and my love for the kids, I want that to rub off on them, because we just want those kids, like I said, to feel like they belong.
Sure.
It just takes one person to make a difference in a kid's life.
That's you having that interest is an infectious situation where if you show the interest and the teachers show the interest and everybody from the lunch lady to the custodians to the bus drivers, if they all have an interest in what's going on in that child, we're going to raise and educate better children and make the children become part of that society. Sure. Hopefully they get educated or they get something and come back and get something and they come back and become electricians or doctors or heaven forbid lawyers or whatever, but they come back and serve the community.
Absolutely.
You've been here since June. You got about 5 months under your belt. What is the most proudest moment that you have when you sit down, when you wake up every day and put your feet on the ground, get out of bed and have that first cup of coffee and can't wait to get to school? What are you most proud of?
Well, Jeff, just the excitement right now that the East Ridge community has. I mean, just to see the stands full on Friday night, to see we've been very present on social media, pushing our kids out there, pushing our teachers out there, just to see the comments and just the overwhelming support that the East Ridge community has gathered behind me, because they didn't know me coming in.
Sure.
And, they could have just said, well, this is just another guy coming in here trying to use this as a stepping stone. But everybody has bought in. We've got one common goal in mind. We're pushing forward. I'm thankful for Mr. Bowen and the Board of Education for having, confidence in me to go in and lead East Ridge into the next phase, into that next movement, and just having confidence in me. And like I said, just the excitement and the want to and the drive that my kids and my staff and my community showed, I'll be forever indebted to them, and I'm just so thankful for them.
Well, that's fantastic. You mentioned Freddie Bowling, superintendent. He inherited the job after Reed Atkins left. He's done a pretty decent job. Reed Atkins, in my opinion, did a pretty decent job of straightening things up. Politics and education, unfortunately, go hand in hand. But what I've seen is Freddie's been pretty darn transparent with me. So I'm assuming just like, you're the top dog at East Ridge, he's the top dog in the district. So he's been transparent. Has that kind of helped you do your job better?
Absolutely. He's been very transparent, Jeff, on what he expects from us. And, going in, and that's what I tell my teachers, holding us, we got to hold every kid to high expectations. He holds us to high expectations. He expects us to bring it every single day. I believe he brings it every single day, Mr. Bowen does. And, he's coming in with the right mindset, and that's the kids. I really believe that with everything in me. And, his vision has trickled down to us, and it's trickled down to our middle schools and our elementary schools. And I believe the best is yet to come for the Pike County Board of Education and all of our schools.
That's fantastic. I know you've been saying Mr. Bowling, and I'm sure people call you Mr. Bartley all day long. I use first names. I'm old school. So, all right. So getting ready to wrap this up here. We talked about being most proud, the fact that you're involved. You talked to great staff, great students, great teachers. You're involved with all this stuff. What sets East Ridge apart, not only from the rest of the Pike County schools? Now we're gonna get competitive,
Right.
but also if you're sitting here with the Commissioner of Education for the state of Kentucky, what do you want to tell that person about your school and what your expectations and your plans are and how they should be keeping an eye on your school for the future?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I think it goes back, Jeff, to that community support and just the resilience that the East Ridge community has shown over the years. And I believe that's what's going to help push us into being the next big thing in education. I really believe that, we were probably, our community was probably hit harder than anybody in the February flood. And, I was at Feds Creek at that time, which was part of that East Ridge community. And just seeing the way they came together and pushed through and was there for one another, and just the resilience and the toughness. We've seen coal decline, and it's took a big hit on our community.
Absolutely.
Jobs have left, but through it all, we have pushed through, and we've continued to push through. And with me at the helm at East Ridge, I just believe that, and with my staff and with my kids and just their willingness to roll their sleeves up, and there ain't no job too big and there ain't no job too small for them. And I believe that's what sets East Ridge apart from everybody else.
Fantastic, Eric. Mr. Bartley, I should say. I really appreciate your time today, man. Explaining this stuff is a great thing, and I know the community really respects that. And you've done a great job so far. I look forward to great things. I know you're not even through your first semester yet, but um, uh, continue the great work. I mean, not only is the community counting on you, but there's a lot of kids out there that really are they need direction. And if you're doing those things like you just told me you're doing, man, anybody can ask for what you're doing. I'm proud of what you're doing. Keep up the great work. And I look forward to seeing you again here soon to have an update of what's going on.
Yes, sir. Well, Jeff, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you guys taking interest in what we're doing because, like you said, we're not always education's not always pushed out there in a positive front always now, but we're out there grinding. We're trying to do the best for our kids and give them the best future possible.
Well, thanks again for joining us at the Pike County Schools Excellence in Education podcast. We'll be back again in 2 weeks with another principal coming up. And I'm looking forward to the next one. And Eric, thank you again for your time.
So thank you.
I mean, Mr. Bartlett.
Appreciate it.